In our previous games against Aston Villa, we beat them 3-1 and we pulled up a miracle of a result and performance. And many of us fans were so shocked because we thought this team of Pochettino didn't have this in them. I had written off Pochettino, I'm gonna say I'm still sitting on the fence, but if we can continue to show consistency and we can continue on that type of performance we saw against Aston Villa now into the London derby against Crystal Palace away, I'm going to be more optimistic around Pochettino, and he definitely bought himself some more time. Question is though, was this a single rare occasion in terms of result and performance? And are we going to now continue this like against Palace? Or was it, just a blip? Was it a single rare occasion? We're about to see that. And I was really happy with the way Pochettino set up in terms of the lineup, the players that play, how he played throughout the game. I was happy with every single player as well. And now we want to see this continue. We're asking for consistency. This is the type of levels we want to see at Chelsea. Pochettino has had his press conference as well. He has also had an interview with Sky Sports, and I'm going to be honest and tell, I think I'm gonna stop listening to the press conferences, post-match interview. I'm not gonna listen to some interviews because nothing personally against Pochettino, but some of the things he's saying is like bothers me. Is this really what a Chelsea manager is saying? Maybe it's a language barrier that prevents him from speaking in the way he wants to. Felt that Pochettino as a manager hasn't connected with me as a fan at all. Maybe it has with you guys. Let me know in the comments how you feel, but I feel like he hasn't really connected. He's not the manager that speaks in the Chelsea way. I don't see much passion from him, and after games he's not really going and clapping the fans off. Appreciating that they have traveled to away games, etc. But here's one thing I just want to take up quickly that he said in a Sky Sports interview. Pochettino admits the days after the Wolves loss were very hard. He says, "My mood does not change. I am in control. My life doesn't change. I'm not going to change the way I think or how I perceive things. The most important thing to remember is that if you don't win games, it's normal to hear some noise and 3 days later you get another chance." This is where I have the problem. I feel like you shouldn't think that you have another chance, because otherwise you will feel like you're too safe in the job. You should feel pressure so you can deliver to your best abilities. And I want to see him take some responsibility and accountability himself in terms of how we have been setting up and tactics. I've only seen excuses. I haven't seen any sort of self-awareness, etc. He hasn't been critical towards himself. So, we're still 11th in the Premier League. Now we got a fantastic performance and result against Aston Villa, and I acknowledge that it was an amazing performance from him and the team. You have to acknowledge when someone does well, but you also have to criticize when there are things you're not happy with. And I'm not happy in the way he speaks every single game before in the press conference before the games. He doesn't feel like he has that Chelsea blue blood in him and that mentality that I would prefer. But it's better if we're just getting wins out there on the pitch. Let the action talks instead. In terms of team news though, we got some unfortunate news. Badiashile hit with major injury blow as Badiashile is ruled out all to the Carabao Cup final. I think he can be out for a month. It's a sort of type of groin injury, or was it a hamstring again? I'm not really sure, but Badiashile is out, and that's very unfortunate because he had an incredible performance against Aston Villa. Now this gives rooms to play some other guys, give them opportunity, like Colwill, he's back from injury as well. Gilchrist can maybe start, but we'll see Thiago Silva, who knows. But it is very concerning we're seeing this type of many injuries game after game. And there came out some other news then though, that Chelsea are looking to add specific expertise to their medical department. chiefly to address a dramatic rise in hamstring injuries this season. This is coming from the Athletic, and it's beyond incredible that it has taken so long for us to actually do something, to actually try to fix the problems in the medical department. We have seen so many hamstring injuries and other injuries this season and last season that you thought maybe they would have tried to investigate it and fix it. Why not then get into my predicted lineup? There isn't much changes in my lineup. As you can see on screen, we continue with the 4-2-3-1, sort of 4-3-3 hybrid, where Gallagher can also go in attack support as a box-to-box, or sort of 10 that will have defensive duty too. Enzo Caicedo continues in the midfield. They had a fantastic partnership in the last game. They were more closer to each other, supporting each other, and we saw some 1-2 passing combination to get past Aston Villa's midfield, and they were so good in the game. Like, when Enzo has this confidence in him, he can really make the difference in terms of splitting lines with his passes, etc. Enzo had a disturbed man of the match in the previous game. In the back line, we got Malagusto, Disassi. I will start Colwell if he is ready. Otherwise, Thiago Silva comes in, of course. Chilwell as a left back. So happy we can now finally see two natural fullbacks supporting our wingers in the attack. We're becoming more dynamic, etc. We're becoming more threatful in the final third. Petrovic continue in goal, of course. I will continue, as I said, with the same lineup. I think the guys deserve it, so that's why I got Madueke, Nicholas Jackson each side. Madueke is working more as a winger, but has the license to cut inside. Jackson operating as an inside forward with the freedom to also change position with Palmer, so he goes out to left. Jackson comes into the middle as a striker. So Palmer continues as a false nine. Now we becoming maybe more fluid and unpredictable when Jackson is a left winger, because he can be very good out wide as a winger, since he played as a winger for Villarreal, and then he can also go behind the back line. He can also drift inside, which plays with Palmer. So I want this to continue. Maybe he is just better off being utilized as a left winger. Now, this worked last game. I want to continue this. Every player showed up. I want to give them another opportunity now. I don't want to make too many changes. And even though Crystal Palace is a team that will likely sit deep in a low block, defend, hit us on a counter-attack, if things is not going right in the first half, we have problems breaking down the low block, etc. In the second half, I will of course be active and take in Christopher Nkunku, because he's very deadly in the final third. Probably our most elite player in this team. It's very key. We now, of course, getting those 3 points against Crystal Palace. I'm expecting a win, so I'm gonna guess we're winning 2-0 away, but I wouldn't underestimate Crystal Palace either. It's still a London derby. They are at home. They're looking to change their fortunes since they're coming from a 4-1 loss against Brighton. Now they got potential Mark Guehi away injured, since he's the best centre back, and Olise and Esse is out, so their attack has been maybe downgraded a bit. But every game is difficult in Premier League, but for me this is just a must win, and I expect us to go there and collect 3 points. We're going to see if we can continue being consistent. I'm just gonna end the video on by talking around Thiago Silva and Raheem Sterling. We're gonna start with Raheem Sterling. He is our most earning winger in this team, our most experienced winger. He has achieved some incredible stuff, and there's nothing against him personally. He's just, I want to maybe give Jackson more opportunities now as a left winger. Maybe we take then Sterling in as a substitution. He's coming on the right hand side for Madueke when he getting subbed off, or Mudryk coming in on the left hand side. But I think Sterling has declined massively. Now, is that because we are chop and change managers? Is it because they haven't used him in the right way? Or is it a mix of both, that he hasn't really put in the work? He hasn't continued to develop his abilities. He hasn't shown consistency. He got goals and assists here and there, but when I'm thinking overall in terms of what he does for the team, like, is it enough? He's 29 now, should be in his prime years, but I feel like Sterling has declined massively. And we got young guys in Jackson and Mudryk, Madueke on the wings, Palmer too, that shown some real promises. Maybe not Mudryk yet though, but you know, Jackson's shown promises being a left winger. Madueke had a fantastic game last time. Palmer has an incredible season. You know, this is nothing against Raheem Sterling, but he also needs to continue to develop himself. He needs to prove Pochettino, he needs to prove the fans that he deserves to play and start for Chelsea. We can't really take into consideration how old they are, how much they're earning, what they have done in their career. It's also about, you know, the current moment. If you don't fit the system tactically, if you're not playing to the levels that we expecting, especially when you're supposed to be our most experienced wingers, then we might have to give some others opportunity. I haven't give up on him. I'll continue giving him chances towards the end of the season, and then we can see what we're going to do with him when the summer comes. And let's then end the video with the Thiago Silva talking point. Now, I have seen a lot on social media that people disrespecting Thiago Silva. A lot of people is following what others is saying, like sheeps, you know, just because one guy says Thiago Silva was the problem, every other people following and saying the exact same thing, you know. I'm not going to be the guy disrespecting Thiago Silva, of course. I think he's a cold monster for a reason. He has achieved some incredible stuff, what he has done for Chelsea, how he has acted in terms of professionalism is incredible. I love Thiago Silva. I have bought a shirt where I have him on the back. But I can also understand the criticisms that maybe it's about time we actually phase out him a little bit and give these younger centre-backs an opportunity, because they have more athleticism, they got more pace, they have still rooms to develop massively and will be a part of Chelsea for the future for many years. And Thiago Silva is coming towards the end of his contract, and maybe we can then use him to come in the last 10-15 minutes to see out games where we're just defending deep, holding on to the league, see out wins, because he's very good at defending inside the box, marking players, sweeping up balls. He's good in the air, reading the game. Like, Thiago Silva is a top tier centre back, one of the absolute best centre backs. Some people think it's a tactical problem, you know, or that is Thiago Silva's fault that we're playing in a low block, etc., and we can't keep a high line, you know. I always believe it's the managers that is setting up the team. He's responsible for every player, how he's setting them up tactically and overall the team. Now, if you're having a slow centre back and you're playing with a high line, what you can do instead is marking the 4 opposition forwards more tightly. You can also be more aggressive in tackles, and you can also use offside traps and using a high press to win back the ball up the pitch before the ball is getting to the forward. So there are tactical tweaks you can do to benefit the team and help the centre-backs if they are slow while still playing with a high line. I'm just going to say that, but of course if you're having fast centre-back, it will be a plus, of course, because if that ball comes through behind the back line, you have a bigger chance that these fast players will catch the forwards. But usually when a player is through on goal, they are through on goal, you know. But that's why you want a sweeper keeper as well, that will come off the goal a bit, keep up the ball, you know, clear it away. So there are tactical changes you can do to adapt to slow centre backs. So it's not only particularly on them individually, but I can understand the arguments where people are coming from as well, that he is slow, he can't really defend in these wide areas as he once used to do. So I mean, we guess we have to see more matches, see how it goes, etc. But I wouldn't disrespect Thiago Silva at all. But I can understand it's my time we face him out a little bit. This is going to be it for my match preview versus Crystal Palace. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.